Welcome back to His and Hers Movie Podcast. This is episode number 52, featuring a review of the brand new entry in the Wrong Turn series, simply titled Wrong Turn. We'll get to that a little bit later, but first let me introduce myself and my co-host. I am JP, podcasting on this January 31st at 1 a.m. in the morning. 2021, and joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host Carly, podcasting out of Southwest PA. We both are, as usual. So, what's up, dude?
Not much, dude. Just kind of hung out today and actually recorded the first episode of Slumber Party Massacre podcast that I am doing with Lacey Liu, Rebecca Reinhardt, and Heather Powell, an all-girls horror podcast, and I think that the episode went well, and I hope, people will enjoy it. I think they will, because I think it translated as pretty fun, so excited about that. We spent like 3 hours kind of, doing it. We didn't realize it was going to take that long, but we just kind of got chatty, but it was a fun time. I did that at like 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., and other than that, I just watched a few movies today, did laundry, and, it's Saturday do nothing day, as you know.
It's not.
Yes, it sure is. Well, now it's Sunday day, but, because it's late, very late. But, that's what I did today. Did I do anything yesterday? I don't think I did things. No, I'm pretty boring, so that's kind of it. What about you? What have you done?
Well, this past week I did a lot, but one thing that we did was we went to the, what do you call them? Video. We went to a family video. Did we talk about that last week, or did this happen after?
Yeah, we talked about that because we just recorded on Tuesday.
I thought we didn't go until Friday.
Friday was yesterday.
When did we go?
Last week, buddy. We recorded just on Tuesday of this week.
Okay, but when did we go?
Last week, the week before Tuesday.
Are you sure? I feel like we just did this.
We did just do it, but we also just recorded.
Oh, so we talked about all that already.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we didn't do that then.
Well, we did do that.
Right, okay, so we talked about that. I had a big podcast that I recorded on yesterday, which it already feels like a long time ago. It's strange. But it was a return to 22 shots. It was episode number 203, I think? 203? It's either 203 or 204. And it was the long-awaited Paranormal Activity franchise. We just recorded that last night. It was a behemoth of an episode, probably about 7 hours or close to it. And it was a episode that we've literally talked about doing since, I want to say, 2013. I think we literally talked about doing it when there was only 4 Paranormal Activity movies.
Damn.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Because the 4th one came out right before we started the podcast, I think, the year before. And then the 5th one came out after, a year of us doing the podcast. And I remember Jeremy reviewed it on the show. He went and seen it. But, yeah, it was one of those things where, we basically kept putting it off for years. And then, we started the whole Patreon thing, so it was we didn't really pick franchises for us to do anymore. It was if someone else picks it, we do it. And some guy picked this finally, and it was months and months ago when this guy picked it. It was probably 6 or 7 months ago, so it took us a really long time to get to it. We were supposed to do it originally back in, I think, October, and it just kept getting pushed back, and Jeremy actually wasn't even going to make it he had watched the movies back in like October or November or something when we've originally had it scheduled. And then we had it scheduled last week, and we had it scheduled the week before, and we just kept having to push it back due to different circumstances. So finally we were able to do it, and we made sure, at first it was just going to be me, Moods, and Jeremy, and Lacey. But because Jeremy was kind of up in the air, we wanted to get another person just in case, and we ended up grabbing Dave Z. As Dave Z is actually quite a big fan of this franchise, so I didn't know if I was going to like it. Moods, I expected to hate it because he had always talked a lot of crap on it, and he hated the first one back when he'd seen it. But he hadn't seen it since it came out, which was like 2009. And I didn't really know what Lacey thought of him. Jeremy wasn't like a huge fan of him, and since I didn't know what I was going to think, I kind of wanted to have somebody that would at least be the opposite if we ended up all hating them. So I pulled in Dave Z, or we pulled in Dave Z, and he joined us on that episode. I can tell you right now, very, very surprising episode where people come in on these things. And it was a really fun show, and we really got into the movies. We really talked a lot about them. So we did the original franchise, part 1, 2, 3, 4, the marked ones, and the Ghost Dimension, so the original 6, plus we did the spin-off called Paranormal Activity Tokyo Night, which is an unofficial sequel that was made in Japan. Not a lot of people know it exists. So we did 7 total films, and it was about 7 hours, so quite the episode. So that'll be dropping. It'll probably be out by the time it'll definitely be out by the time you hear this, so that's good. Anybody listen to this also, I might have mentioned this last week, but I finally got 22 Shots shifted over, and we're back on like the podcast catching apps and stuff like that, so Spotify and iTunes and Podcast Addict and all those podcast places you can hear our show again, so that's really good. Got that finally figured out. Really happy and excited and relieved about that, so that's all that. And yeah, I mean, besides that, I didn't really do much this week. You know, a lot of my nights were watching Paranormal Activity movies, and then recording that show last night. That was like my whole entire day. But yeah, so that's all I got.
All right, cool. I was going to say that the Slumber Party Massacre episode should be premiering on the Valentine's Day weekend, hopefully, if everything goes to plan. So look out for that. But other than that, I think
so are you guys like just doing slasher films?
I think we're doing like more sort of girl-esque horror films and stuff like that, kind of like The Craft and Slumber Party Massacre, obviously. Trying to think of other ones, but you know, stuff like that. Just fun movies too. Like maybe we'll do the other Slumber Party Massacre movies and Sorority House Massacre. But yeah, kind of just. I think the idea was like girl-centric films.
Girl power.
And yes.
Yeah, there's a bunch out there. I mean.
Yeah.
Even ones that are less like The Craft and stuff, like you have like American Mary.
Yeah.
Which is like, you know, a strong sort of female type thing. Maybe like Black Christmas, since it's like a sorority thing.
Right.
Ginger Snaps.
Yeah. Even
the
stuff
whole
like
trilogy.
The Descent has like an all-girl cast, stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of different options, and we're gonna, definitely discuss it a little more as time goes on, but it is exciting. I think it's gonna be a fun show. We're gonna do it monthly.
Hostel 2.
Oh yes, Hostel 2, that's a good one too. But yeah, that'll be coming out, and other than that, I've pretty much just been watching moves for fun here and there, Big fan of watching moves for fun, and recorded a few videos for my YouTube, and that is it. That is what I've been doing.
Alright, so I guess this will probably be a little bit of a shorter episode, so we can get into the what we watched things, and since we just recorded, like 4 or 5 days ago, we haven't watched a ton.
Yeah.
I guess it's my turn to go first. What did I talk about last time?
Well, you brought up Paranormal Activity 1 and 2.
Okay. Just as I suspected. So yeah, pretty freaking simple rundown here. I'm going to be extremely brief. So we have Paranormal Activity Tokyo Night from 2010. This one here is basically a very, very loose sequel to the first film. It was in production at the same time as Part 2, the American Part 2, and it was released 1 month after the American Part 2 in Japan. So the story follows a brother and sister who basically start experiencing haunted things. The sister is in a wheelchair because she broke both of her legs in a car accident when she was in America, and the brother starts filming the things. The connection to the first film is how she got her broken legs, the sister. She actually killed Katie in a car accident after Katie had murdered Mika in the first Paranormal Activity. So that is how it's connected. Now, the movie itself is honestly more of a rip-off of Paranormal Activity than anything. They even do some of the same types of things. Like in Paranormal Activity, they use the baby powder, and in this one, they use like salt. They put it on the floor, and then there's even like some similar sort of scares and things like that. It's just a very, very same movie type of thing. It's pretty much a rip-off in my opinion. But yeah, it's not really good. It's extremely slow. I didn't hate it either though.
Are you like these are they allowed to even do that,
well,
where they have continuity?
They wouldn't be allowed if it happened in America.
Oh.
But because
Okay.
laws are different in different countries, like Universal or Blumhouse or whoever made Paranormal Activity, the first one, or Paramount actually, it was Paramount and Blumhouse. They probably wouldn't be able to sue them, you know what I mean? But that's why this film wasn't really ever released in the US either. You can get an import DVD before, but it's heavily out of print, and now you could still find copies of it, but they're like from France or Germany, and they don't have English subtitles, so they only have the German and the French. So it's a really hard to find movie. For curiosity's sake, it's interesting, but it's not really that good. And then we have Paranormal Activity 3 from 2011. I absolutely love this one. And this show will be out by the time you hear this, so if you haven't, listen to that show before you listen to this show, because I'm about to spoil everything that I feel. But Paranormal Activity 3, I think it's the best in the series. I think it's one of the best found footage films ever made. It kind of blew me away a little bit. I just loved it, loved how it tied into the rest of the films. And it's scary, and it's like the perfect Paranormal Activity movie. So yeah, that one's great. I came in really high on that one. Then we have Paranormal Activity 4 from the year 2012, which a lot of people don't like this one, but I actually did like it. The story doesn't progress too much, and there's some things left unexplained about it. But I really enjoyed the scares and like the different ghost things, gimmicks they do. Like I like the Connect. There's like a scene with a knife that you're wondering when the payoff's gonna happen. There's a cool scene in a garage and stuff like that, and it just kind of gets scary at the end too. So yeah, I really like Paranormal Activity 4 as well. And then we have Paranormal Activity, the marked ones from 2014, which this one surprised me because I'd always heard when this was being released, I heard it was like marketed as a spin-off, like not a sequel, you know, just like a different family or whatever. And it is for the most part, but it ties directly into the other films, which completely shocked me when that happened. This is the Paranormal Activity that's sort of made for teenagers, I would say. Like that, it has like way more. It actually is the only one that has nudity, I think, and it also has like, you know, some sexy scenes and stuff like that, and it's following two kids primarily. I think that it was such a cool idea to leave the like rich white suburbs and move to like these Mexican kids who are living in like an apartment complex in LA and stuff, or I don't even know if it's not LA. I don't know where it is, but you know, California.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought that was really cool, and I really, really like this one. I think it's super scary and has like a lot going for it. I think it's the second best in the franchise. And then we have Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension from 2015. This is the final film in the series, but they are making a new one now. It's supposed to come out in March of 2021, but it got pushed back to 2022 due to COVID, like most other things. And yeah, this one, I liked it, but I do think it's the weakest in the franchise. This one was shot for 3D, and I didn't know that, but about like 20 minutes into it, I was like, was this thing shot for 3D? Because it was starting to like, I was like, they're doing a lot of like visual things. And yeah, sure enough, it was a 3D film. It's supposed to be the end in the series. I really like certain aspects about it, like this sort of manipulation of like time and space type thing that they're doing. And I like that the father and his brother are watching these tapes from like the previous films and stuff like that. That's all really cool. I really like that about it. But yeah, I thought it was the weakest, but it's still good. Like, I think I came in at a 7 on that one. So like, if you didn't notice, I pretty much love this franchise now. I did not think I would like it. And honestly, like, the thing that was the most surprising about this franchise was how connected all the films are. I did not expect that. I just expected each one to be another story of another haunted family and like a very cheap like cash in, but no, there's actually like heavy connective tissue between all of these films, and I really, really, really enjoyed that aspect of it, and I was really shocked while watching them that was the case. In fact, by the time I got to the third one and I started the fourth one, I realized it had continuity too. Every one after that, I couldn't wait to watch. I just wanted to see where the story went next. So, yeah, definitely, this went from me literally not caring about it at all to becoming one of my favorite franchises.
Nice. Very nice.
Right, and then after we recorded that show, I decided to kind of chill out and throw in a movie for fun. And I recently picked up Total Recall from Walmart on 4K, and I had thought I'd never seen it before, but then when watching it, I remembered that I had watched this a couple times as a kid. I must have had it on VHS, because I specifically remembered the three-boobed woman, the three-boobed prostitute in this movie.
I see.
But yeah, this is a film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's set in 2084. He plays a construction worker who's dreaming about Mars and a mysterious woman. He visits this company that implants false memories of vacations in your head, and chooses a trip to Mars as a secret agent. However, the procedure goes wrong because Quaid actually has suppressed memories of him being a secret agent on Mars. So it turns out that he really was, that somebody had wiped his memory, and then he goes to Mars and stuff like that. And it's actually a really, I actually really liked this movie. It was a lot of fun. And I like the world building with the like sort of red light district of the planet and stuff, and it's a little sleazy and cool, and I just think it's a pretty, I mean, it gets a little action film towards the final act, but you know, that's fine. But yeah, I gave it a 8 out of 10. Pretty good movie from 1990. And then I watched The Refrigerator from 1991, which I was so dreading doing this.
Right.
Because we had already done 91, but I got it as a Patreon review a while back, and I kept putting it off, so I finally decided to watch it. It is a super low budget horror movie. I mean, it's not super low budget. It's just low budget horror film. I think it might be German or something. I'm not 100% sure. But it follows, so it opens up with this dude and this chick go into this house, and a refrigerator like sucks the chick inside of it. And then it cuts to this young couple who want to move out of the area where they're in and move somewhere else and like get their first house together and stuff. And they get this apartment/house thing, and the refrigerators in there basically is like evil, and they're having like dreams and visions and stuff, and the woman has like mom issues, and she's like an aspiring actress, and basically it sucks. I mean, it wasn't as horrible as I thought it was going to be, but it's just like so boring at times, and the refrigerator isn't really that cool, and like the husband's like seeing a person, like a miniature person inside the refrigerator and stuff next to an Aunt Jemima box. Which I noticed is really funny. The end has like a little bit of like mayhem, which was kind of cool, but it's like not worth it to sit through it to get there. And I'll say that the music in this film like was so obnoxious that at the beginning especially, it's like pure comedy bullshit, and then a little bit at the end, but it kind of tones down the music throughout the middle a little bit, which I was so happy for. But yeah, it was super annoying music for the most part. I give it a 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10. I didn't like it. And then the last film that I watched today in preparation for next week's franchise show on 22 Shots is Twilight from the year 2009?
2009, buddy.
2009? Was it 2009?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd seen this when it came out. Funny enough, like, it came out and, like, everybody was blowing it. Like, you gotta figure out it was probably, would have been in, like, 11th grade or something.
Yeah.
And I remember all the girls, like, loved it, like, and me and my friend said he saw, we were just bullshitting about it, and we were talking about how like it's a movie that like all these girls are like crushing over Edward. Like it's just funny to us, and we were like, and he's like, my aunt actually, which his aunt was like my age. She was it's funny, she was like my first girlfriend in like 3rd grade. And he's like, my aunt has it on DVD if you guys want to watch it. And I was like, what? I was like, I don't want to watch that. And he's like, no, it's honestly not that bad. So me and my 2 dude friends went and got the DVD and went and watched it. And I remember we were both like, by the end of it, we were like, yeah, it wasn't so bad. You know, that it was like that was kind of interesting what they did with the vampires and stuff like that. But that was literally, I haven't seen it since. And I did watch the second one. I was like really tuned out of it when it came out. Like when it came out and I watched it, I was like really tuned out of it, and I just stopped there. But watching it now as an adult, much older adult, like a decade has gone by plus, I could see that this movie is definitely, like, I don't know why horror fans were talking about it, right? Because it was such a big deal in the horror community. Like, I used to watch a lot of YouTube, and everybody was talking about, like, Hollywood, like, the Twilight's ruining horror and stuff, and I'm just like, looking back, I'm like, dude, this wasn't for horror fans, clearly. But at the same time, I do understand that, like, Fangoria and Horror Hound, I don't even know if Horror Hound was around back then, but, like, the magazines and Bloody Disgusting and all the websites, they were reporting on Twilight news. And they were covering Twilight heavy. And I do remember them saying, like, years later, they're like, look, we know we covered Twilight and stuff, but you don't understand, like, it was selling like crazy because all these like other people started buying the magazine because it had Edward on the cover or something, you know. So I remember that, and watching it now, I'm just like, yeah, well, it's clearly not for horror fans, right? Like it's not made for horror fans.
Right.
A horror fan is not the target audience. It's a teen romance with vampires and werewolves. So, I mean, I don't think it's a horrible movie. Honestly, I don't. But the thing that really... And actually, I shouldn't be even talking about it this much because this episode will come out before we cover it. But I'll just finish by saying this. It was a lot more cringy than it was the first time I seen it.
Yeah.
Like, the actual love story, I just don't think is developed properly. Like, it comes off like super, like, Edward comes off so fucking emo at the beginning. Oh, so lame with that. But I remember everybody being like, are you Team Jacob or Team Edward? You know what I mean? Like, everybody. And like, if I had to pick now, I'm Team fucking Jacob. Because Edward sucks in this movie.
Yeah, he does.
At least Jacob seemed kind of cool.
Yeah.
But the actor who plays Jacob was he shot a movie out here by us, like literally like a couple blocks from your house.
Yeah, I know, that abduction movie or something.
Yeah, and it was I remember watching it, you know, because when it came out, and it was kind of weak, honestly, but but it was cool to see locations from, because that was like the first time in my life that I remember that happening. Now I know that there was other movies filmed here before, but that I wasn't aware, and some of them were before I was born. But yeah, it was cool to see that. And I remember when he was, you know, towards the end of filming, he was supposed to do like an appearance downtown Brownsville, and he never came out of his trailer or whatever, and I just remember the streets being completely crowded with young teenage girls, and it was like sad. And preteens too, but just all these young girls that wanted to see him. It was like sad, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, people waited out there for hours and never even came, and you know, you could have signed some autographs and stuff, dude. Come on. So now I'm Team Edward, because he was in the lighthouse, and that was cool.
Shut up.
So yeah, that is it. That's it for me for what I watched this week. I also watched a bunch of episodes of The Simpsons. I almost watched all of season 1.
Good for you, little guy.
Last night, after Total Recall.
Right. You were just having a lot of fun last night.
Yeah. Okay, your turn. Hurry up, I'm hungry.
Dude, are you seriously telling me to hurry up? You just talked about Twilight. You gave your full feature review of Twilight just now. Like, no, I was like, come on, I don't care about Twilight or Edward. Come on.
Dude, you know that every time we go and see the Twilight books, you're like, oh, this is my favorite.
No, like, shut up. You do that. Alright, so I shall be quick. First up, Slumber Party Massacre. From 1982. I already talked about this a few weeks ago, because I happened to watch it a few weeks ago, but, and like I said, there will be a full-on review on that new podcast I have coming out, but it's a fun slasher film, and I paid the most attention to it this time around, obviously, since I had to do
you said that
actual...
last time, too.
What, buddy?
You said that last time, too.
Yeah, but I paid more attention this time. Like, tried to pay attention to the details. Screw off, dude! Piece of shit. Trash. Bad friend. Calling me out. Okay, but it's a fun slasher. It is good, and it's one that I...
Already.
Okay, cool. Anyway, after that, I watched Color Out of Space.
Dude, you said that last week.
It's a joke. I've been looking forward to saying it this whole week. I'm kidding. I didn't watch it. Okay. But I really watched Bloody Birthday from 1981, a movie that you had given me, and this is another slasher, and it's cool because it's about little kids killing people, which I didn't realize going into it, and it's about, you know, these 3 kids who were born on the same day, and I guess the day that they were born happened to be this big eclipse, so that constitutes them being psycho killers when they grow up. And so at the age of like 10, they start just killing people, including like the one girl's dad and, you know, some of their family members and whatnot. And this one was pretty good. I enjoyed it. The DVD is pretty crap. The quality is just really bad. Like, it's hard to hear a lot of the dialogue, and of course there's no subtitles, so it was definitely kind of rough, especially at the beginning. I was like, oh god, I can't really hear what they're saying at all, but as it went on, you know, it got a little bit better. But I had fun with it. I thought it was good, and kind of dark too, you know, little kids killing people, you don't see that too often, so I thought it was salad. Gave that like a 7.5 out of 10. Then after that, I watched, as per my Survive out of 5, Cry Wolf. I talked about this one on the show a while back too, before we even picked 2005, because I just happened to have bought it. And watching it this time around, again, I paid more attention to it this time, and I definitely enjoyed it a little bit more. About these kids at this school who, kind of like a boarding school type of deal. They play this game called like The Wolf, and I've played this game before, pretty much like variations of it.
No,
fun game.
And this isn't a real game, dude.
Yeah, it is. It's called Werewolf, or like there's different Mafia, or there's different variations.
It's called Cry Wolf.
No, dumbass, the real game. Prick. Anyway, Cry Wolf. These kids are playing this game, and there's a new kid in town, and him and this girl decide, like, hey, let's spruce it up and get the whole school involved somehow, and they do it by making up this whole fake persona, like a murderer, and send out this mass email, because it just so happened that this girl got shot in the woods recently, so they're like, let's pretend to be the killer and be on campus, and things kind of, you know, go a little too far with the whole joke, and that's how the movie plays out. I think it's a little bit convoluted with, especially towards the end, but at the same time, I think it's enjoyable and an interesting idea for a slasher film, so I dug it. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Then after that, I watched a movie called Ratter from 2015. This was a Dollar Tree pickup that I picked up recently, and it's kind of like a found footage film about this girl. You're following her. She moves to New York to go to graduate school. She lives in an apartment by herself, and the whole movie is like through her phone, but it's not really like her filming herself. It's just supposed to be this guy hack into her stuff, and he's able to like see her and see all her passwords and get into everything about her, and he essentially is stalking her, and she starts getting suspicious because he's like sending her weird phone calls and mailing stuff to her house, and she's getting freaked out, and the movie goes from there. I thought it was decent. I didn't think it was anything that we haven't seen before, but it was decent. If you do like these sort of found footage / technology horror films, you would probably dig it. There were actually a few creepy moments in it as the film progressed that I enjoyed, but overall it wasn't anything too special, and I thought the concept of him kind of seeing her through the phone was a little bit unrealistic. But I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Then after that, I watched We All Scream for Ice Cream from 2007, the Masters of Horror episode. And
but that's not an 05 one.
For fun, I was going to say. I just watched this for fun, and I watched it today, and I think I deserve to watch a movie for fun. But this is from the season 2, and I think it's episode 10. And I actually enjoyed this quite a bit. It had William Forsythe plays like this mentally challenged ice cream truck driver who dresses like a clown and clowns around. And you find out that there was a prank that went wrong and he wound up dead years ago, and you're kind of flash forward to the present where you have all these dads and you know, their kids, and this ice cream truck keeps coming at night and luring the kids in, and they think it's the guy's ghost coming back to seek revenge, and so on. I actually thought this episode was pretty creepy and effective, and I like the whole ice cream truck aspect. Had some decent atmosphere, and the kills and just the effects were pretty good, so this is probably one of my favorite Masters of Horror episodes at this point. Give it an 8 out of 10. And then after that, I watched Flightplan as per my Survivo 5. And Flightplan is about, it's another move that is set on a plane from 2005 next to Red Eye. And again, it's a thriller. It's definitely thriller, not really horror, but it is psychological thriller, so, you know, count it as a watch. This one stars Jodie Foster, and she is a mother. Her husband passes away, and they live in, I forget where, Berlin or something like that. They live out of the country, and they are trying to fly back to New York, her and her daughter, with the husband's coffin to bury him there. And they're on this very high-tech plane that I believe she helped engineer, and she falls asleep. Her daughter goes missing while she's asleep, and the rest of the movie is her trying to figure out what happened to her daughter, and everyone on the plane is kind of like thinking she's crazy and claiming that her daughter was never on board, and you're kind of thinking, like, is the daughter dead? Is she really on board? And is the mom crazy? And all this kind of stuff. I really like this a lot. Very good thriller. Jodie Foster's great. The plane is really cool looking. Like I said, it's very high tech and huge, and you know, a lot of room to like just run around and stuff like that. And you know, you think it's going to be predictable kind of, but it's actually not, and I really enjoyed that about it. It was pretty solid thriller, and if I had to compare it to Red Eye, I think I like it a little bit more, but I do give them both the same rating at an 8 out of 10. Like I said, though, it's more thriller than horror. And then lastly, as per my just watching movies for fun, I watched Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, 2000. I had a VHS copy of this that I had recently picked up, and I had been wanting to revisit this because I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, and it was, honestly, it didn't hold up as much for me as I was hoping, if I'm being honest. There was aspects to it that I did recall from when I was little, but a lot of it I didn't remember, just certain lines and bits and pieces, like the naked woman running around the tree. That was one thing that I always remembered from childhood, but I don't know, some things about it come off as a little bit cheesy to me, and I do like I like the beginning where you have all those interviews. It kind of plays out like the original, but this time it's like people talking about the hype of the, you know, actual Blair Witch Project film and how people thought it was real, and they're all saying like how everyone comes to Maryland, Burgettstown, Maryland now to try to find the witch, and, you know, they're just interviewing all these townspeople who are saying it's not real, and people, they should have used a fictional town because everyone's bothering them in their town. So I thought that was cool, but I don't know, just the actual story didn't really do too much for me. It just wasn't that creepy. You're fired. What?
You're fired.
You don't pay me to do anything, dude. In fact, you're fired.
No,
Goodbye.
You're fired, dude. That movie is awesome.
Awesome.
Yes.
It's fun.
It's awesome.
It's okay.
You don't think the story was really cool?
It was cool. I mean, it was, like, creepy, them watching back the tapes and stuff like that, and seeing all the stuff that happens, and, you know, just in, like, blurred images.
What's the line that the guy says at the end when he is recording Tristan?
I don't know, buddy. What?
He says video doesn't lie, but film does.
Oh, okay.
You don't remember that line?
No, I don't.
Okay, so that line is pretty interesting in the movie because the movie is what?
Blair Witch Project sequel?
It's a film, right? Like, the original Blair Witch was video. Like, it's them video recording, right, with handheld cameras.
Right.
Now, I do think they do use it, like a 16mm there, too, in the original. But, you know, the point is it's a video. But Blair Witch 2 is what? It's a film, right?
Right.
Like, it's made like a regular movie.
Correct.
But when he says that line, if you pay attention in the movie, everything that's in the film is lies. But whatever's on video is the truth.
Oh, I see.
So you know
you're
how they
trying...
play the video back, and at the end of the movie, he's like, "Play the tape." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then they show what happens, and he's like, "That's not what happened." You know what I mean? Well,
Yes.
that is what happened. It's the movie that's not real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's cool, dude. Like, there's a lot of hidden little cool stuff in there, and it was a really smart movie. Each of the characters represent a person who watched the Blair Witch, like the type of fan of the movie. So you had the capitalist, like the guy who wants to make money off of it. You had the Wiccan from the Wiccan community who thought it was like a bit of a annoying thing for Wiccans. You had the scholar and the skeptic, and then you just had the chick who thought the movie was cool. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yes.
And that goth chick, by the way, I had such a big crush on her growing up.
Of course you did.
What do you mean?
All she did was put on black eyeshadow. Wow.
What do you mean? Of course you did.
She's like, you think goth chicks are so hot? Like all she did was put on very bad black eyeshadow.
She had on black lipstick, did she not?
I guess. Yeah. Her hair's black. Ooh, how hot. All right, 6.5 out of 10.
I disagree.
Okay, that's my. No, you can't.
I disagree
that's my
with
rating.
your rating.
No, you can't disagree. You can agree. You can have a different rating. You can't say you disagree that I have that rating.
We're gonna have to have you do a new rating.
No, buddy. 6.5 out of 10. Take it or leave it.
Well, I shall leave it.
Fine. It shall sit here next to me because it is my rating.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Jeez, you took forever.
No, I didn't.
All right. What should we do next?
The move.
Okay. Wrong turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Here we go. Okay. So I guess I'm giving a synopsis of Wrong Turn from 2021. This land is their land. Okay, so the synopsis is, Jen and a group of friends set out to hike the Appalachian Trail. Despite warnings to stick to the trail, the hikers stray off course and cross into land inhabited by the Foundation, a hidden community of mountain dwellers who use deadly means to protect their way of life. Suddenly under siege, Jen and her friends seem headed to the point of no return, unless Jen's father can reach them in time. So, yeah, Wrong Turn. As you can kind of hear,
who directed this one?
Mike P. Nelson.
What has he done?
Probably nothing but suck his own dick. Oh, he did the domestics.
Yeah, which you liked.
Yeah, but I mean, it was so.
Now, did this have the original writer in back? Was that what I heard?
Yeah, I believe so. Chicken Ho. Writer Alan B. McElroy, who wrote Halloween 4 and Wrong Turn from the original Wrong Turn. So yes.
Right. So okay, let's just start with this. Okay. So.
What?
Just a little heads up, there will be a minor spoiler with plot, not necessarily anything that's going to spoil the movie. It's just that there is an aspect of the plot that is different from the original, and we can't talk about the movie without saying that, like, what's different about it. But it's not, like, if you watch the trailer, you might be able to even tell. So it's not a major spoiler. It's just a minor spoiler of, like, what this movie's about.
Synopsis literally just gave that away anyway.
What did it say?
It said, it legit says they encounter the Foundation.
Right, but you don't know what that is.
Oh, right.
Okay, so the movie opens up with basically a father looking for his daughter who had gone missing, and then it flashes back when he finds out that she went missing in this town in Virginia, not West Virginia like the original series, which is why I say that this could exist in the same film series. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be a reboot or it doesn't have to be a remake. It could be a sequel, actually, just sort of in name only, because it doesn't actually start over really. Yeah, you know what I mean? It doesn't. It's not a remake of the first movie at all. It's its own thing. So then it flashes back 6 weeks earlier, and we follow what happens to the daughter. She goes to this town. She decides to go hiking. She's dating a black dude, and then there's 2 gay dudes. So it's kind of like this inclusive bunch that they're trying to pull off here. This sort of, and we will say, like, we know a little bit of what the director was thinking, because there was actually a bonus feature at the end of the film, which was a little making of, and so he kind of commented on some of this stuff. A very progressive group of, sort of liberal characters here. And they go to this, sort of more hick type town, and they're bumping into the locals and stuff like that. And the director, what he was basically saying in this movie is that, like, they are being judgmental when that's what they are fighting against. You know what I mean? They're expecting all these people to be horrible.
Right.
Which is because they expect the people to not like them because they're gay or black or, whatever. And so they're very judgmental, which we can get into that in a little bit. But basically they go out into the woods, and one of their friends dies through sort of an accident, but you're not sure if it's an accident or not. And then they run into the people that live out in the woods who started living out there right before the Civil War. And it's not and this is where the little spoiler action comes in, it's not a mutant cannibal inbred thing.
Yep, there's no left eye, there's no 3 finger, there's nothing.
So it's like a group of settlers, basically, who are like kind of like Amish or something, like the Village or something like that, you know what I mean? Self-sufficient type people that want to stay away from technology and people. And yeah, it's them, and there is a question of, are these people bad or are the leads bad type thing going on. And I'll kind of leave it at that. Like, this is a really hard movie to talk about without going into the actual details of the third act, but we're not going to do that because this movie is so new and a lot of people haven't seen it, because it was a one-day only screening. But I think it is supposed to come out on VOD later this month or later in February. So yeah, it might actually be out already. I'm not 100% sure. But okay, so I liked it. You didn't.
Right.
I didn't think it was great though.
I wanted to mention that we were actually in the theater with someone who apparently worked on the film, so that was kind of cool.
I think it's like an effects artist or something, because they were talking at the beginning of the movie, and they were saying, "Is this your first one, your first credit or whatever?" And he said, "Yeah." And so I feel like they probably all work on film. They looked like the type. Like, one dude had a face mask that was a straight pinhead thing. I was trying to show it to you, but you were angry at me.
No, dude, I just wanted to leave because this movie sucked.
Yeah, so that was kind of neat. They clapped and stuff, which was, I kind of wanted to talk to them about how the movie was was flawed. So my biggest gripes with the movie are, first of all, let me get into positives. Let me talk about my positives. So one, there is some good gore in here. There's some good gore. I like the woods setting. I like that it's serious, right? Because we haven't had a serious Wrong Turn film since Wrong Turn 1. They've all been kind of cheesy slasher films after that. Right. And this one is grounded in semi-reality, and it's a serious movie. It's not It's not making fun of or like, you know, being over the top intentionally. So I like that about it. I also thought that the wood scenes were good. It was, you know, filmed pretty well. I thought the acting was pretty good for the most part. But the character, and this is where the negatives come in, the characters were atrocious, dude. Like, I get, like, so the director's concept here is, and he hammers this home that this was what he was thinking. Like, what if we flipped it on their head and these, you know, liberal kids are actually very judgmental themselves, and in order to make his plot, his concept work, some things had to happen, and it's kind of, it's stupid because the kids prejudging the people in the town and everything kind of is true though. So it's like your message is like you shouldn't judge people before you know them, but it's like, well, they were right though. You know what I mean? And then to like sort of twist it on its head and be like, no, they weren't right. There's some like bullshit reveal in the end type thing, and I'm like, that's stupid. And then there's also just some dumb stuff. I will say this: the movie ended pretty cool, but at the same time, like before it got to that ending, it was really dumb. So it was like, it was dumb, and then it was like a cool final moment in the movie, and I was like, oh, I like that, what they did there, with the music playing and stuff like that. It was a good scene, but it's like the fact that it even happened was stupid to me. I think people are gonna like this.
I mean, I do too, but I'm not one of them. I mean, the positives I have, the gore is good, and like there's one death scene in particular that's really disturbing looking, and then you kind of get like a zoom out shot of it that I thought was really creepy, and I thought that was cool. I was on board at first, you know, from the beginning. I was enjoying it. There was a few parts that made me laugh, and it was playing out decently. You know, they're kind of hiking in the woods, and it felt very much like an old-fashioned wrong turn movie where they're hiking and then something's gonna go wrong. But I don't know, some of the dialogue I thought was really stupid and kind of just forcing the whole issue of like, hey, maybe they're the good guys and we're the bad guys, and I thought it was a little bit cringe. The characters are very unlikable, and whatever, that's I guess another thing, they want you to think that way, but it just made it annoying for me to watch. Where it goes, the twists and stuff, and where it goes in the final act, I think is really just eye-rolly and was annoying, and I felt like, I don't know, every character that was supposed to be like a hero-type character was just not doing anything. Like, they would go to do something, then they'd get like whacked or something, and it would completely drop that, and I don't know. It just kind of got laughable to me.
It felt like they wanted to make this really strong female lead who comes out of her shell in the end and stuff like that, and the problem is you make her extremely annoying and unlikable.
Yeah.
I think that, like, honestly, I think that probably, I don't know, like, at first I was thinking that maybe, like, very, like, liberal people would like these characters, but I almost feel like they're caricatures of those people. And it's not, like, as bad as, like, Green Inferno, like Eli Roth's Green Inferno. I'm not saying that it's, like, those people, but it's, like, you know, they're annoying, and the stuff they're saying doesn't make sense to you, to me, to us. And there was literally a part in the movie where I almost quit. Luckily, it rebounded, but there was a moment in the film where a character starts being mad about something or like concerned, and I'm like, I literally started freaking out, throwing my hands up in the air, like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I would punch this bitch in the face. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was so angry. Like, did you see me? Did you see how angry I was looking?
Yeah, you were doing those arm things that you do where you're like, what? You know?
What do I do?
you're like, what? But
what are you doing while saying that?
Arm things.
What do you mean arm things?
Like pushing them out into the air and out in front of me, but like, and also going up and down a little bit. Like what? We need a camera for this, but you get
Do I do that often?
You do, yeah, you do it when you're driving and someone pulls out in front of you or someone does something stupid. You're just like, what? And then during moves, you were doing that, and I thought, like, oh, he's on board with me. This movie sucks dick. And then it's like you start liking it, and I was like, man, he's not on board with it.
No, well, I didn't. No, the thing was that, like, it kind of redeemed itself because of what happens later. And you're like, okay, well, I guess, but you know what I mean? So, I'm being coy, obviously, because of, like, the spoilers, but it kind of redeemed itself a little bit, so I kind of forgave it a little bit later. And I did kind of find myself starting to like the lead a little bit, but it was, like, almost one of those things, like, too little, too late type thing. And honestly, like, there's a 6-week span from, you know, what happens to them and the father looking for them. And you're just like, there's no way all this happened in 6 weeks. You know what I mean? It's like, it feels like years have gone by. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you realize what happens, like, towards the end of the movie, you feel like years have gone by. Yeah. And honestly, the lead villain I found extremely annoying as well. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I respect that they tried something different and I respect that they tried to ground it in reality and make it like a serious horror film again. But, like, I just want my monster cannibal inbreds.
Me too. That's... I don't know. I like the Wrong Turn franchise. I think it's fun, and I would have liked a bigger budget inbred movie, and that's not what I got. But that's not just the problem, you know. It's okay to do something different. I just didn't like what they did different. I didn't think they executed it super well, and
it had potential. Don't get me wrong. Like, this had a lot of potential, but again, like, I just think I wanted something else out of it, and if this was good, I could have accepted it. Like, I wouldn't have been, like, still hung up on the fact that it wasn't, like, the Wrong Turn of old. Yeah. But the fact is that it was very frustrating to watch some of the stuff that happened in here, and be like, and also, like, it's like they don't even follow through with their concept of, like, maybe these people are good, because of the scene where the chick is in the hole, like, impaled. And I'm like, well, the audience knows the truth. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I'm like, they don't follow through. It's just asinine. It doesn't make sense, you know what I mean? Like, the message does not work in this movie.
And the move is too long, and it just felt long. Like, I kept looking at I was looking at my phone, and I was like, holy crap, an owl hair hasn't even gone by. And
I do remember when we checked the time, and it was like 40 minutes in, and I was like, holy shit, how are they going to put 120 minutes or an hour and 20 minutes in this?
Yeah, a whole other movie.
But I did enjoy the featurette at the end, which I do know Fathom does that sometimes. They'll have, like, a little behind-the-scenes thing at the end of the movie. Yeah. It actually helped me understand the movie, because I was like, what is this guy doing? And it didn't help me understand in a positive way. It made me like it less. But like, basically my thoughts were reassured, and he even put it into words that I could, like, okay, now I definitely feel strongly about this because he said it himself. But yeah, the people involved were like, just thought they were doing something so cool.
Yeah, it's like, I felt cringe watching it, because they're just like, yeah, I'm supposed to be that really strong character, and the director clearly just thought, like, he was the shit. He's like, I made this movie, and it is different, and I am unique, and it's gonna go down in history. Yeah. But yeah, I just really did not care for it at all.
Okay, so do you have Letterboxd reviews?
Yes, I shall read a positive. Let's see. This is by Chasen Screams. He gave it 4.5 stars. And let us see. Let us see what the hell is going on. Okay, don't at me. Okay, this soft reboot gave an entire new meaning to the franchise. The franchise's premise. The cast in this film not only gave stellar performances, but was incredibly diverse in terms of cultures and professions. We had nurses, business owners, environmentalists, etc. And it was nice to see the experience become a useful characteristic as things began to spiral out of control, at least for some characters. I'm going to get personal for a second, not only as a black gay man, but as someone who's been in interracial relationships. I felt that sense of fear some of the characters had when they were visiting the little redneck town. This movie is realistic, which also, F yes, for having a gay couple with 2 leads.
Okay, let me just cut you off there. I do like the gay couple aspect, and I do like the black character dating the white girl aspect, because they do manage to get that sense of like fish out of water, like fear on the screen. I will give them props for that, but the whole thing about like, okay, they have these people, but they made them douchebags is kind of a, it's almost like a slap in the face for having something cool and then just destroying it afterwards.
Right.
But, okay, continue.
Right. The gore in this film is out of this world,
okay,
and
dude.
from.
No, you're exaggerating. It's not out of this world.
From what I've watched on the big screen, it's all practical effects. Ari Aster fans will rejoice at the amount of head trauma that takes place in the movie. Now, I'm not going to lie, that is what I thought of while watching this movie, Ari Aster stuff. So, I kind of agree with him there. Maybe not nearly as brutal, but still, I definitely got vibes like that. The booby trap kills are unique. There's loads of blood and lots of close-ups of the mutilated bodies, which made me squirm and smile. When it comes to the story, the installment definitely has a unique new approach to the franchise. Don't expect to watch a hillbilly horror slasher. Go in expecting a survival slasher horror film with a strong cult-like presence. The history and politics of this hidden civilization, the Foundation, was intriguing to learn and added layers to our antagonists. My eyes were glued to the screen the entire time. The script is written well, the cinematography delivers some beautiful shots, and the hidden themes of finding yourself and the idea of what's morally right made for some interesting character choices. Blech. Character choices that I haven't seen in a horror film since the 1988 slasher film American Gothic. I've never seen that, but...
I don't understand the reference at all to that, but American Gothic is cool.
Right. Another reason why this reboot feels so realistic is the fact that a fair amount of the film highlights the fear of family members of other groups are experiencing because they're missing.
It's realistic, by the way.
What?
It's realistic.
Right.
Yeah, not realistic.
What? Realistic? What are you saying, dude? Shut up.
I'm just correcting the way you pronounce that word.
That's how I said it like how it's said.
No, but...
I'm going to continue this last sentence. I have a lot of thoughts, so I'm going to end on this. Charlotte Vega is a phenomenal horror star, and her in that Kill Bill inspired scene was fucking killer. I cheered out loud.
I agree with that. I agree with that scene that he's talking about. It was awesome. And it did remind me of fucking Kill Bill, actually.
I see. Hold on. I had another. Hold on. Trying to find the other one that I was gonna read.
Here,
Where is it?
I'll do it.
No! I have a 2.5 star one.
Okay. 2.5 star. You don't really pick negative. You pick like good and, you know.
There's not other ones. Like, it's so annoying that you say that, dude. Because okay, well, here's a 1 star. I watch wrong turn movies for backwoods mutant cannibals, not for some cult Renaissance nerds gone rogue. Wow, what a
that
great
was
review,
a good
dude.
review. You probably agree exactly with that guy.
I do agree with that guy, but I'm just saying
that was actually a pretty good review. It was funny because
yeah,
that was actually a good one.
It is funny. I didn't read that one before. But no, dude, I'm just saying, like, the 1-star reviews are usually to the point like that, and not, not.
Okay, so you didn't.
What were you gonna read? Just read what you were gonna read, then.
It's gone now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it went away because I was looking for the one you were talking about. Okay, that's fine. That his works. All right. So what are you coming in at on Wrong Turn 2021? Is this your first 2021 movie?
My first 2021 movie?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Is it the first one you watched this year for 2021?
Well, buddy, we watched 2 other moves.
2? Oh yeah, we did do 2.
we do the
Shadow and
together.
Dicks and 10 Till Dicks.
Yeah, moron.
Okay. Why are you calling me a moron?
Because, like, what are you at? Like, we do the show where we do new movies, and you're asking me if this is my first 2021 movie.
Dude, my memory is shot. Okay.
Okay, dude. Well, I gave it a 4 out of 10.
Okay. I am a much more appropriate 6 out of 10.
Much more appropriate.
What?
Nothing. You're such a, like, what's with the diss?
What are you talking about?
Like, you have to say a much more appropriate, like my rating wasn't appropriate.
No, it was appropriate. Mine's just much more appropriate.
Okay, dude, go ahead.
You know, I have a more sensible palate than you.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I do.
No, buddy.
Name your top 10 favorite giallos. I'll wait.
Buddy, you don't even like deep red.
What is your favorite German expressionist films?
The Golden Glove. What?
No, buddy. That's just a German film.
Oh. The Necromantic 2.
Maybe. No, I'm just kidding. But so yeah, I am smarter than you.
Shut up.
I have, I'm more cultured. You're just like a plain white girl. I'm Mexican. I have culture behind me.
No, dude, you don't even know. Like, that's so stupid. Like, you just had a Mexican dad, but you can't even. You don't like say one word in Spanish. I'll wait.
Hola.
You're annoying. Hola.
Jalapeno.
No, buddy. Okay, just it's 2 a.m. Come on. Come on.
What?
I want to go to bed.
Come on, what? I don't understand what you're telling me to come on.
End the show.
When?
Right now. Do an outro or something. It won't end.
This was a quick episode.
Not really. You gave like featured reviews about all your moves.
Alright, I guess we're out of here for this week. Next week, what are we doing?
I don't know. Should I know?
Yeah, you should know.
Did we pick a movie?
No, but there's one. See, I don't know. Maybe we'll do that new Denzel Washington movie.
Okay.
The Little Things. Did you see the previews to that?
No.
It's in the theaters right now. AMC. It's at Uniontown. And
Yeah.
it's a thriller though, I think.
Oh, that's fine. As you know, Thriller is the cousin of Horror.
It's 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Oh my god!
The plot is 2 cops track down a serial killer.
Oh, I feel like an empty man is coming on.
It's got Denzel freaking Washington in it, dude. There's no way it's Empty Man. It might be like John Q.
Oh! Well, didn't he play in that?
What, John Q?
Yeah, he's the... Wait, no, is that... Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, you're dumb. See, not cultured.
I get him mixed up with Forrest Whitaker.
What?
I get their name, like, because they have weird names. I don't know.
Forrest?
Forrest and Denzel. I don't know.
Okay, so that is also available on HBO Max as part of that, like, released in the theater and HBO Max at the same time thing. So even if we don't get to the theater, because I'm not sure if I have a day off. You can go if you want, but I'm not sure I'll have a day off where I'll be able to go see it before we record.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually certain that I won't. So I might have to watch it on HBO Max.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
Right.
So we'll probably do the little things next week. All right. And with that said, I guess we are piecing out of here for episode number 52. We'll see you guys next time with episode number 53.
Bye.